Sup fams, EEPMON here, and you are tuned in to the Late Night Channel Eps episode 57. And today, I like to talk about the rise of the global digital culture. And I would like to start off with let's go a little bit back in the past. I was in high school and I was, an avid gamer at the Super Nintendo. Well, I had the Nintendo, first of all. And I remember I was obsessed with drawing Mario or Link, and I would obsess with the number of pixels Mario's cap was, like his mustache, even Link, and how Link looked like from the front, the sides, and I would get myself grid paper, and I would exactly draw the exact amount of pixels, and then I would color them. Like I am obsessed with it. And the music. Okay, for those role playing games, RPG, I played Final Fantasy, I played Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Trigger music. You guys listen to Chrono Trigger music? If you haven't, I recommend you to go on YouTube and search Chrono Trigger music, and you will find symphonies, renditions, orchestrated versions of the video games. And it's beautiful. It's incredible. But check this out. Back in the day, I would record Chrono Trigger music onto a cassette tape, or I guess maybe on like a CD or something. And in high school, a lot of my peers, when I was in art school, and they would, listen to their typical pop culture kind of music. And then I said it was my turn. I want to how come I can't play? I can't why does everyone hogging the music? Can I not also be part of that too? So I played my Chrono Trigger music, and I enjoyed it. But guess what, folks? Everyone laughed at me. They laughed at me because I was playing video game music. And he's like, this is like, why you listen to video game music? How lame, and like, what a loser, that kind of thing. And now, I tell you, EEPMON always wins, folks. Always ahead of the times, y'all. So, but look now, today, I think isn't the NAC, the National Art Center here in Ottawa, I think in January, or is it in December, they have announced that they will be playing Final Fantasy Symphony. Yes, finally we're having it here, because it's been happening all over the world. But now finally in Ottawa, we're going to have Final Fantasy Symphony. We're going to have the orchestra music. Well, whatever happened to those people who were crying foul, like, ugh, ew, brother, what is this, this music is so nerdy, and it's only losers listen to that. So, how does it, so jump to now. This is these were the signposts, folks. Not just, millennials, but the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, these were even using graphical software tools back then, right? They never considered it as a legitimate form of art. It was traditional art, like oil on canvas, acrylic on canvas, pencil and the pastel drawings. These are all watercolor. Now that was fine art. Digital art, is that fine art? No, it isn't. What is this? You're just using a computer to paint things. It has no value, and we can't take it seriously. We can't take that seriously. We can't take video game music seriously. However, as I mentioned, look at the signposts. The signposts are they're telling you that there is a shift that has started. Advent to the internet. In the mid-90s, when mass adoption started to happen, right? Mass adoption is using the internet. No longer are we siloed to specific mainstream media outlets to dictate to dictate their whatever narrative and message. Now, with advent to the internet, we have a more globalized perspective of what's happening around the world. No longer do we have a narrow view. So I think that whole momentum uh, video games, music, and like the just like an anime back then too. Like I got exposed to anime because of the internet culture, right? Before, it wasn't even back then. Like I remember anime was like laughed at traditional animation houses. They would not even take like anime as a serious form of animation. Oh, I remember there were certain schools, respected design art schools here in Canada, and they would just scoff at anything that was made in Japan or anime related. Um, they want to see the Disney quality. They want to see the Disney output, right? And I was like, and again, I was like, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't scratch my head. Like, why is this such a big shift of like opinion? It's creativity, it's art, regardless of the format. So, long story short, these were the signs that we are indeed engaged in the transformation of our society into a globalized digital society, a digital culture. So these were the same people who, so the naysayers, like, clearly missed the whole point or the opportunity because they were just so like this so gung-ho with their whole like idea of what constitutes as fine art or certain things. But now things are becoming a lot more open. Information flows, like now they were more informed of globalized matters. That being said, of course, that is not without its pitfalls, with the increase of misinformation and all that kind of thing. And bad actors would go and like hack and data theft and all that kind of stuff. But trust me, folks, these things of theft and whatnot, regardless of what era you are in, it has always happened throughout the test of time of humanity, okay? Whether you're in computers or technology or not. It's always been there. Bad actors will be bad actors at every stage of the humanity development cycle. Okay. So yeah, like, it transformed a lot. Like, I even remember the digital transformation or the globalized digital culture definitely happened during the Blockbuster era. Remember Blockbuster Video? At one point, they had the opportunity to buy Netflix, but then I think I believe that part of their narrative was like, why would anyone, buy something or order something that's completely online? It's like, or something is like just not there, right? It's like Blockbuster. We own the physical we own the physical VHS tapes or the DVDs. Like, we're brick and mortar. People want that hold on physical things and physical assets. Well, look what happened to them now. Bankruptcy, big time. And I want to talk about that whole idea of physical assets or holding something. I find that people still have the belief that holding something in real life, like holding something like physically, for some reason has a lot more, the tangibility has more value, apparent value, than something that is like digital. And I get it. It's quite a paradigm shift. But don't get me wrong here. The idea of digital ownership is not a new thing. I go back to video games, like people playing World of Warcraft, souping up their armor, or playing these FPS first-person shooter video games, where they would actually purchase an item online through the online store of that game, and then they would equip their character with stronger armor, stronger weapons, better utilities to do something in the game, and also have an advantage over their competitors because they got the rare drop that was only available on, I don't know, like Christmas Day, right? These are actual scenarios that happen, and you can only get it at a certain time, and they would buy it with their own money, and what they get is that digital asset. So So this is again a signpost and the direction of society pivoting into a more digital, globalized culture. I always go back to that. Okay. Now, another thing I like to talk about is, of course, the digital disruption, or I wouldn't call it a disruption, more like a shift of how we conduct our day-to-day activities to a more digital one. Of course, we have Web 2. You have your infrastructures. You have your social media platforms. You have your Airbnbs, your Ubers, just changing. Airbnbs have affected the traditional hotel industry somewhat, Uber taxi industry somewhat, so transportation, hospitality, restaurants, all that. Even music industry. Look at Apple, right? Apple's like music, like isn't that incredible, folks? We take it for granted, but really, what is Apple? Apple is supposed to be an Apple computer, but because they're really a software, they're really engaged with not just hardware but software. They have a huge, a huge, what's the word? They have a huge infrastructure for the music industry. Who knew that computers would be, software would be involved with all these different aspects of industry? So, digital art, in a sense, like I said in my bio, I say I'm a digital first approach to my creation. But because I'm digital first, it's almost like a software type play. Being a digital artist allows me to easily traverse in different industries. I could be in the fashion industry, I could be in the public art realm, in the academic industry, public policy industries, trade delegations, working with museums, working with brands, multinational brands, establishment, like all these things is because of the digital globalized transformation that we are in. I think it's a great thing. Now, I know there are naysayers that don't want to have anything to do or adverse to such change, but I would ask them to, instead of being fearful or just like not having to do with technology or digital culture, but instead perhaps take some time to do your due diligence and understand it more and seeing how it can align with what you do today. It's about finding and achieving balance with the tools of in the tools that we're engaged with, right? Instead of like, oh, I don't want anything to do with it. Oh, this stuff is bad. Oh, no, I don't want to do it. It's like, no, like, all right, level-headed here. Like, forget what the media says. Forget what your friend says. Really understand it more objectively and understand and figure out how this can be, find ways to look at it and see where opportunities lie for yourself, and that's very important. And I guess I could also segue to, like, look, these technologies have changed a lot of things, but I think it's part of the progression of human nature, of humanity. And the next thing is going to happen, and if not already, is digital assets, or like crypto assets, tokenization. That's the next thing, folks. That is going to be, the same people again who are saying, "Oh my God, like digital tools is bad. Technology is like ruin our lives, and everything is like corrupting us." Software is ruining our industries because they disrupted the music industry, the hotel industry, everything industry, and now it's gonna disrupt our financial economic industry or whatever, right? I think it was like, guys, fine. Like, digital assets is the tokenization is where it's not a new thing. It's not like it came out of like thin air. Like, we were the millennials and Gen Zs we've already been primed for that ever since like Super Mario came out. So whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. And I haven't even talked about artificial intelligence, folks. I haven't talked about quantum computing. I haven't talked about quantum cybersecurity. I haven't talked about robotics and IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Like, I'm just talking about the idea of the signs that are pointing to a truly globalized digital culture. You know, it's happening right now. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because the reason why I'm kind of ranting about this is simply because I think it's important to hear from my perspective, and the sort of like things I've been hearing in narratives of those who are just completely I don't want to swear or anything, but they're really like just don't want have anything to do with it. I think it's just you're cutting yourself very short by not looking at it deeply and how find ways that it can improve or empower what you do today. I mean, I'm an optimist. I've always been an optimist. I always there are no rules. It's just like what guarantees a artwork to be like why should a fine artwork should be considered to be of certain categorizations. No, for me, I'm like artist free of expression, and we use any tools we want to create work of art because it's a work of art. If it's done, people ask me, is it hand drawn? Yeah, it's hand drawn with a stylus and a keyboard. It's hand drawn. There's different ways of using it. So, but I think that this here, folks, the global digital culture. Like, look at the Apple Vision Pro. Look at the Oculus. These VR devices are coming in. People are saying, "Oh, it's so clunky, this and that." Yeah, maybe. But again, that's another signpost. The signs is writing is on the wall. We're going to the physical and virtual worlds are going to collide to become like a mixed reality. It's going to be mixed, and I believe that in the future, if not already happening again, like people growing up, the physical world and the virtual world will be like one and the same. It will be the same. It's just like we live and breathe it, and it will be almost indistinguishable, is what I'm saying. So yeah, my little rant about the rise of the global digital age, culture, what have you. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be intimidated by it. It's part of the natural discourse of human curiosity, right? Check out my lantern. This lantern right here, the Japanese traditional lantern. Oh my God, I can't even point. And well, what's in there? It's an LED puck. I'm using technology. It's not using candles. If I did, I'd probably burn the place down. So I don't want to do that. But I could change colors. Check it out. Blue. Come on. There we go. Changing colors. Is that cool? But yeah. So, yeah, folks. That's my little rant. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I hope I didn't offend anyone. But this is true. Like, just how I feel. That's okay, We can embrace it. Well, I hope that you have a wonderful evening, an afternoon, and a morning, wherever you are in the world. Because this is the Late Night Channel Eps, and I can say whatever I want, right? On the Channel Eps, as long as I don't, do any crazy profanity, like left and right and all that. But yeah, that's it, folks. I hope you, if you like what I had to talk about or any questions and whatnot, just leave a comment. Please subscribe, share it to your friends. And until next time, I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.